Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the National Guard products number 426. This is a typical common saddle type threshold. This is a ubiquitous piece of weather stripping material, meaning that it is a saddle type threshold. If you use your imagination, you can see why they call it a saddle. Okay. Dimensionally, it's also incredibly common at 1/2 of an inch tall. Let's do the width first. 6 inch wide, then 1/2 of an inch tall. Why is that common? Well, the 1/2 inch tall is very, first of all, it's handicap compliant. That is important to know. The 1/2 inch height is quite compatible with typical hollow metal doors and frames in terms of the industry standard 3/4 inch undercut that you'll have on a hollow metal door and frame. 6 inch is also very compatible with typical jam depths that would be 5 3/4, 6 3/4, 8 3/4. You know, if you want something that's going to be a bit wider than average, 6 is on the threshold of becoming wider than average. If 5 inch is average, perhaps 4 inch. 6 is nice. 6 is also used, as is 7 inch, when a client wants to have the threshold run longer than the jambs, meaning, let's say you were going to cope the bottom or the end of the threshold at both ends around the profile of your typical metal frame. Why would you do that? Well, you might want on the exterior the aluminum to run all the way long to the end of the wall so that you pick up a little bit extra, a significant amount of additional barrier against the bottom, the very bottom of the jambs, and the application of salt, if it's an exterior opening, obviously, and weather, and things of that nature. Sometimes people like to do that. Or if they've got a custom frame and a little bit wider threshold, you can have it run long on both sides. So it's just one reason why someone could also use a wider than average threshold. But generally, if you have a 8 3/4 jam depth versus a 5 3/4 jam depth, you'll probably want something wider rather than narrower. It will just seem more appropriate across the entire bottom of the threshold. Generally, I like to see the bottom of a hollow metal frame fairly covered by the threshold butting up to it. And if you've got an 8 3/4 frame and then you run a 4 inch threshold, quite frankly, it might be a little bit odd or incomplete for the opening. Okay. Available, of course, in this is the 3-foot piece, available in all of the common lengths. Before we talk more about that, this is available in both the mill finish, which is what this is, just mill aluminum. It's also available in the DKB finish, which would be considered dark bronze. There is a link below this video to a document called Product Brochure, and it appears to be about 5 pages. From there, you can see, and the 426 shows up on the last page. In the absence of a letter after the part number, you're going to get mill aluminum, what the aluminum looks like when it's extruded and shipped from the aluminum mill. It also refers to the DKB version, dark bronze. Then, in that 5-page product brochure, you're going to see 1/4 inch rise. You're going to see what the thresholds look like in terms of availability when the base material changes to architectural bronze in different saddle type variants of it. So fluted top like this, smooth top as well are available, and that product brochure will help you perhaps absolutely determine if this is the best choice for you, or it might allow you to pick up the part number of something more suited or better suited to your application. Now the length. You can order this in really any length that you want. It's in the website from generally 2-foot to 8-foot lengths. Beyond that, we don't list them because of the cost to ship something longer than 8 foot. That's atypical to sell that. If you have need for a custom length, by all means let us know by ordering the next longest piece or pieces, and simply indicate that in the comment field when you're adding the item to the cart. The reasoning is this. You may not want to have to cut down something like this. If you were to have to trim it down, you might, if you were to take this 3-foot piece and cut it down to, say, 32 inch, you're going to certainly eliminate that countersink or that dimple that's there. And speaking of that dimple, screws are included in a complementary finish. They're about a number 10 by 1.5 inches would be my guess. Flathead Phillips drive. So if you order a custom length, we'll not only trim it to length, but we'll locate that first dimple at the proper distance from the edge and the proper center to center as well. You really want to have the dimple from the factory, and frankly, cutting the piece to length is sometimes not the trouble, but countersinking it is more of the challenge. And you want that countersink because you want the flathead screw to sit into that dimpled area so that you can have the best possible chance of the underside of the screw head's ability to keep the threshold anchored, because with a threshold, naturally, you've got a lot of up and down motion, you've got a lot of lateral motion, and sooner or later, all that motion will work loose a screw that's not very solidly anchored. So I'd recommend, if you have need for a custom length, simply order the next longest piece or pieces and indicate in the comment field what length you want us to cut the material back to. We'll trim it and we'll locate that hole at the proper distance from the edge. Now, finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the National Guard products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's ever-evolving, ever-improving website, and then finally a link to the full product catalog. If you have more than an occasional need for weather stripping, I would familiarize yourself with the National Guard product line, because their name in the weather stripping, commercial door weather stripping industry is quite synonymous with the product line. They are a comprehensive provider of not only thresholds, but perimeter gasketing and door sweeps, material made of aluminum, stainless steel, architectural bronze. They also have a comprehensive offering of steel vision frames that you'd see used in both wood and metal doors. If you have any questions on the National Guard number 426, 1/2 by 6 inch saddle type threshold in a mill aluminum finish, or any other National Guard product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.